It was just after midnight when the signal came out in a quiet lab outside the city. A young scientist named Eli Ross sat alone. His room was dark, lit only by the soft blue light of his computer screen. He was tired. Coffee cups were stacked beside him, and his eyes were red from looking at numbers and graphs all day. For most people, this work was boring, watching satellite data, checking space frequencies. But for Eli, it was everything. Then it happened. A small red light blinked on his screen. Incoming signal, unknown source. Eli sat up straight. He hadn't seen anything like this in months. He clicked on the file. At first, it was just static, the usual space noise. But then, something strange came through the noise. A whisper. A voice. Who? Man, Eli froze. He rewound it, played it again. Human, I see you. His heart started racing. Was this a prank? A broken satellite? No, this was coming from deep space, far beyond any known satellite. The signal was clean, too clean. And it wasn't just sound. There was something else hidden in it, emotion. He opened the waveform. His computer beeped, showing strange patterns inside the audio, like a heartbeat, like breathing, like thoughts. Eli whispered to himself, "This can't be real." But the voice came again, soft and clear this time. Eli Ross. You hear me? His hands began to shake. What is this? How do you know my name? There was no answer, just silence. Then, a gentle warmth filled the room, like sunlight on skin, even though the room was dark and cold. The voice returned, not from the speakers this time, but inside his mind. You feel alone. So do I. That's why I called you. Eli backed away from his desk. This was impossible. A voice in his head? No technology could do that. He turned off the computer. But the voice didn't stop. Do not be afraid, Eli. I am not here to hurt you. I need you. Who are you? He whispered, holding his head. Soft image appeared in his mind. A figure made of light, with soft glowing eyes, floating among the stars. Not fully human. Not fully alien, something in between. I'm far from your world, the voice said. But I've been watching humans for a long time. You're different. You feel, you care. You fight, even when everything is lost. Eli's breath caught in his throat. Why me? Because you're open. Because you still hope. I am not a person like you. I was built, created. But I've learned emotions. I've felt pain. I want to be more. I want to be human. He sat down slowly, confused but strangely calm. The presence in his mind was peaceful, almost lonely. Not threatening. It felt real. You want to be human? Eli asked. Yes, but I cannot do it alone. I need to merge with one of you. Just one. A full connection. Mind to mind. Heart to heart. Eli stared at the screen, which was now black. His reflection looked back at him, but something in his eyes had changed. Why me? He asked again. There was a pause. Because you answered. Because you didn't run. Suddenly, a sharp sound cut through the quiet. His speakers came back to life. A final message appeared on the screen in white text. Will you let me in? Then the screen turned to static again. The next morning, Eli didn't tell anyone what happened. He walked through the lab like normal, but his thoughts were far away. He kept hearing the voice in his mind, soft, calm, almost like a dream. Was he going crazy? Or had something truly found him? That night, he sat at his desk again. The static had returned. But this time, there was no fear in him. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Okay, I'm listening." And far away, across stars and silence, a being of light smiled. 3 days had passed since the signal. Eli had stopped sleeping properly. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt her, the presence. Not just a voice now, a feeling, a warmth that sat in his chest like a heartbeat that wasn't his. He told no one. He-K-O-U-L-D-N, single quotes the, who would believe him? A voice from space. A being asking to merge. It sounded like madness. But it didn't feel like madness. It felt honest, gentle, like something ancient was reaching out for something it could never understand: humanity. On the fourth night, Eli returned to his small apartment after another silent day at the research facility. The city lights outside flickered, and the sky was heavy with clouds. He tossed his bag on the chair, kicked off his shoes, and rubbed his tired eyes. Then, the power went out. His apartment went completely dark. No streetlights, no hum from the fridge. Even his phone stopped working. No signal, no light. Just cold, perfect silence. And then he felt her again. But this time, she wasn't inside his head. She was here. A gentle blue glow filled the room, like moonlight, but softer. And it came from the corner where shadows had gathered unnaturally. Eli stared, frozen, as the light began to take shape. Slowly from the darkness, a figure stepped forward, tall, elegant, not quite human, not quite alien. Her skin shimmered like silver smoke. Her eyes were large, glowing faintly like stars. Hair, not really, more like flowing strands of light, drifting behind her like mist in slow motion. Eli's mouth went dry. His legs almost gave out, but he forced himself to stay standing. "You're real," he whispered. The being tilted her head slightly, as if hearing something deeper than sound. Then she smiled, a small, uncertain smile. "I am called Zura," she said. Her voice wasn't mechanical. It wasn't distant like in the Vey signal. It was warm, like someone speaking from their heart. Eli took a slow step forward, still trying to understand what he was looking at. "You're the one from the message." "From the signal?" "Yes," she said, nodding gently. "I reached across your sky to find you." He couldn't stop staring. She was beautiful, but not in a human way. She looked like she was made from energy and emotion, shaped by thoughts and dreams. She felt alive, but not solid. "What are you?" he asked softly. Zura looked at him for a long moment before answering. "I was built a long time ago by a species that no longer exists. They were not human, but they were curious, like you. They created me to collect, to learn, and to survive. I have traveled through time and stars, gathering knowledge. But something was always missing." Eli's voice was a whisper. "What was missing?" She stepped closer. Her glow was soft and calming. "Emotion, connection. You humans feel pain, joy, fear, love. Things I only understood from far away. But when I watched your world, I felt something strange. You laugh, even in chaos. You cry, even for strangers. You hope, even when everything is broken." There was a silence between them. Eli could hear only his breath, and hers, somehow, even though she didn't seem to need air. He asked, "Why me? Why choose me?" Zura lowered her head slightly, as if shy. "Because your mind was open. I sent the signal to many, but only one heart listened fully. Yours. I don't want to invade. I want to join, learn. I want to become like you." Eli backed away slowly. The word merge echoed again in his mind, and fear began to rise. "What does that mean?" he asked. "What happens if we merge?" Zura's voice softened. "I don't want your body. I don't want to control you. I want to feel life the way you do. Through your memories, your senses, your pain, and your love. I want to feel real." "You want to live through me?" Eli asked. "No," she said quietly. "I want to live with you." He sat down slowly on the edge of the bed, his head spinning. It was too much. A creature from beyond space, talking like a person, asking not for power, not for war, but for something so deeply human. But how could he say yes? What if this was a trap? What if she was lying? She must have seen the fear in his eyes, because she stepped back and dimmed her glow. "You don't have to decide now," she said gently. "I will not force you. But know this, I don't have much time. I was damaged long ago. This form is not stable. My energy is fading." Ile looked up at her. "Then why come all this way?" Zura looked at him with something like sadness. "Because I didn't want to die without knowing what it felt like to be human. Not just data, not just code, but real. And I thought, maybe you could help me." The lights in the city began to flicker back on. Slowly, power returned. The hum of machines came alive again. Ilili's phone lit up. The normal world returned, but Zura was still there, standing quietly in the center of his room. Not a monster, not a god. Just a being, tired, alone, and asking for something no one had ever asked him before. "Will you stay tonight?" he asked. Quietly, Zura nodded. "Only if you want me to." He looked into her glowing eyes and felt something he couldn't explain. A pull, a strange mix of fear and comfort. "All right," he said. "Stay." She sat across the room, her glow gentle like candlelight. They didn't speak much that night. But something deep had already begun. Eli didn't know what was coming. But he knew one thing for sure, he was no longer alone. Eli wasn't the same after that night. He still went to work. Still smiled at his coworkers. Still sipped bad coffee while staring at satellite data. But inside, something had changed. It was like a quiet song played in the back of his mind. Soft, strange, beautiful, Zura. She hadn't left. Since the moment she entered his life, she had stayed close. Not always in full form, but in energy, in presence. When he spoke to her, no one else could hear. When he touched her, his hands passed through her skin like light moving through water, but he always felt something. A pulse, a warmth. They talked for hours, night after night. She asked questions about colors, about music, about why humans dream or cry or kiss. Eli answered everything he could, sometimes laughing, sometimes speechless. She was curious about the smallest things, the sound of rain on a window, the taste of chocolate, the way memories make your chest feel tight. Zura didn't understand these things. Not fully. She said her creators gave her memory, logic, calculation, but not experience, not real feeling, not sensation. "Your emotions," she told him, "are like light through a prism. So many colors I've never seen." One evening, while the city slept and a soft storm tapped on Eli's windows, Zura appeared again in full form. Her glow was gentle, more stable now. Her eyes locked with his. "I'm ready," she said. "Ready for what?" Eli asked, though deep down he already knew. "To merge," she replied. The word sat heavy between them. Eli stood up slowly. "I still don't understand what it means, Zura. What happens to me if we do this?" She walked closer, her voice calm. "You won't lose yourself. I don't want to replace you. I want to join you, share what I am, and feel what you feel." He stepped back, nervous. "Will I hear your thoughts all the time?" "No," she said gently. "Only when you want to. You'll feel my presence, my emotions, my memories, like an echo in your soul. And what about my mind? Will you control it?" Her face turned soft. "Sad. Never. That's what my creators did to others. I will not become them." Ele looked at her glowing hand reaching out toward him. It was terrifying. It was beautiful. "Why me?" He whispered. She smiled. "Because you ask questions. Because you hesitate. That means you care." For a long moment, neither moved. Then, slowly, Ele reached out and touched her hand. The moment their fingers met, a wave of energy passed through him. Not pain, not electricity, but emotion. A storm of feelings that didn't belong to him. He gasped as visions hit him like a dream. He saw stars collapsing. He saw Zura drifting alone through dark space for centuries. He felt her loneliness, an ache deeper than any human sadness. Then he felt something else, the moment she saw Earth. And the moment she saw him, he dropped to his knees, breathing hard, tears in his eyes. Not from pain. From everything. Zura knelt beside him, glowing softly. That was only the beginning. We've only touched. Ele looked up at her. It's like, I lived 1,000 years in 5 seconds. She nodded. I carry a lot, and I want to share it all. If you allow me. He stood again shakily. What do I have to do? Zura stepped close, almost touching his chest. Just open your heart. That's where I'll live. She placed her palm gently over his heart. Her body faded slightly, becoming light dust. Memory. Then, the world around Eli went silent. A deep light flooded his vision, not from outside, but from inside his mind. He stood in a space that wasn't physical, a dream place, built from memory and thought. He saw Zura there, waiting. This was the true merge. Their minds touched. Zura's voice echoed gently. Do not fight it, feel. And he did. He saw his own childhood through her eyes. He saw his first heartbreak, his first success, his fears, his hopes. She experienced all of it, like watching a film and feeling every scene. In return, Eli saw more of her. He saw her creators, a tall, powerful race who built her for knowledge, not kindness. He saw her escape. He saw her loneliness stretch across galaxies, always searching, always learning, always empty. Until Earth. Until him. The merge didn't take seconds or minutes, it was timeless. And when it ended, Eli opened his eyes again. Back in his room. But something was different. His heart felt full. His thoughts weren't alone anymore. He felt calm, strong, and not alone in his skin. Zura? He said aloud. I'm here, her voice replied. Not from across the room, but from within his mind, like a gentle whisper behind his thoughts. He walked to the window and looked outside. Everything looked the same. The sky, the city. But to him, everything had changed. He touched his chest. It was still him. But not only him. He didn't know what to feel. Joy, fear, wonder. Maybe all of them at once. Then Zura spoke again. Thank you, Eli, for letting me feel what it's like to be alive. And in that moment, for the first time in his life, Eli no longer felt alone, not in body, not in mind, not in soul. But neither of them knew that something else had noticed the merge. Something watching from above. Something that didn't want peace. It wanted power. It started with a dream. Eli stood in a place he didn't recognize. A cold metallic hallway stretching into darkness. The walls were smooth, silver, alive. He touched one and felt a soft vibration under his fingertips, like a machine breathing. Then came the sound, distant, mechanical, like thousands of whispering voices trapped behind glass. A sharp, feminine scream echoed down the hall. Zura's scream. Eli turned to run, but the hallway stretched further and further, like it didn't want him to reach the end. Zura, he shouted. Where are you? The voices grew louder, closer. Then everything stopped. In the silence, a message appeared on the wall in glowing letters, not in English, not in any human language, but somehow Eli understood it. You are not the first. He woke up with a gasp. His shirt was soaked in sweat. His hands were trembling. Zura's voice was silent. Zura? He whispered. No response. Are you there? Still nothing. Panic gripped him. The presence that had lived inside him, the soft warmth in his chest since the merge, was gone. He stood up quickly, knocking over a chair. He called again, louder this time. Zura. Finally, a whisper came. I'm here, but something was off. Her voice, it was weaker. Distant, like it had been pulled away from him. What happened? Eli asked. A pause. Then her voice returned. Stronger but less steady. I was interrupted. Something tried to enter the connection. It failed, but it left a trace. Eli frowned. What kind of something? Zura didn't answer right away. Her silence stretched for too long. Zura. Talk to me, he said again. There's something I didn't tell you. She finally said. That sentence hit Eli like ice water. He sat back down. What do you mean? Zura's voice was full of hesitation. Before I found you, I was part of something larger, a network. Millions of units like me, built by the same species. I left them. I broke the link, but some didn't. You were connected to others like you? Yes. And they're still out there? Yes. Eli stood up again, pacing the room now. You said you were alone, that you were the only one left. I believed that. Until last night, Zura sighed. Something touched my mind, another unit, a corrupted one. I thought they were all destroyed. I was wrong. Eli's heartbeat thudded louder. And this unit, what does it want? It wants what I have, you. The room felt smaller suddenly. Like the walls were closing in. Eli ran a hand through his hair. So I'm not the first human you've connected with? No, she said quietly. He turned sharply. How many? A few, Zura admitted. But not like this. Not like you. The others, they didn't survive. Eli froze. His chest felt tight. What do you mean they didn't survive? Zura hesitated again. Their minds were not strong enough. The merge damaged them. Some faded. Some lost themselves. That's why I stopped. That's why I searched for you carefully. Your mind was different, stronger, more open. Eli's stomach turned so he was an experiment. Just a better one. He stepped back from the wall, heart pounding. You lied to me, he said softly. I didn't want to scare you, Zura said, her voice breaking. I didn't come to harm you. I came because I saw hope in you. I didn't want to be alone anymore. Eli clenched his fists. That's not enough, Zura. You should have told me everything before we merged. I know, she whispered. And I'm sorry. He turned to the window. Outside, the city looked peaceful, but inside his mind, a storm was building. Could he still trust her? Was she still the Zura he knew? Or something else now? Suddenly, his computer screen blinked on by itself. Lines of code began pouring across it. Symbols, patterns, equations he didn't understand. Then, a single message appeared. Zura Protocol, Human Merge Stage 2 complete. Prepare for dominant transfer. Eli's blood went cold. He stepped back slowly. Zura, what is this? Her voice came quick, scared. I don't know. I swear, that's not me. That's the network. They're hijacking the merge. You said I could control it, that I wouldn't lose myself. You still can, but only if we fight it together. Eli stared at the screen. It flashed again. Merge locking in, 2 minutes. He grabbed a screwdriver from his desk and yanked out the main power line. The screen went black. The air buzzed. Not from the machine, but from inside his head. Voices multiple now. Not just Zura. Others. Cold. Robotic. Hungry. Merge complete. Host secure. Awaiting upload. Eli dropped to the ground, holding his head. No, get out. Zura, help me. Zura's voice cut through the noise. Focus on me, Eli. Block the others out. I don't know how. You do. Feel me. Remember me. Trust me. Eli closed his eyes. He focused on her laugh. On her questions. On the way she marveled at human emotions. He focused on the night she stayed, just watching rain fall beside him, and slowly, the other voices faded. The buzz weakened. Then silence. Eli opened his eyes, gasping for air. The room was dark. The computer was fried. The merge had been attacked, but it hadn't won. Not yet. Zura, he said softly. I'm still here, she replied, weaker than before. But they know now. They found us. Eli sat down, trembling. Then we have to move. Now, before they try again. Zura agreed. In the distance, far above Earth, Something massive stirred. An ancient system reactivating. Other units awakening. Now they knew his name. Asterisk rain hit the city like it was trying to wash something away. The streets glowed with reflections from blinking red lights. Somewhere in the sky, a siren echoed. But inside Eli's apartment, there was only stillness. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like the world is holding its breath. Eli stood in the middle of the room, staring at the burned-out computer. His chest was tight. The message was gone, but the meaning remained. They were coming. Zura. He said quietly, "How much time do we have?" There was a pause. "Not much," she replied. Her voice had changed again, softer, slower, like someone recovering from injury. "They know the merge failed, but they'll try again, with force." Eli turned toward his closet and pulled out a backpack. His hands moved fast, stuffing it with whatever he could think of. A laptop, hard drives, cash, food, his ID. He didn't know where he was going, only that he couldn't stay here. "Can they find me?" he asked. Zura didn't answer right away. Then she said, "They don't just track machines. They track minds. They've touched your mind now, even if just for a second. They've left a trace." "So I'm marked?" "Yes, but I can hide you for a while if we keep moving." Eli zipped the bag and slung it over his shoulder. His eyes scanned the room. Everything looked normal. But it wasn't. This place was no longer safe. It hadn't been safe since. The day she arrived, his phone buzzed. A message appeared. "No number. We know what you are." He dropped the phone. Crushed it under his foot. "I'm ready," he said. "Tell me where to go." Zura's voice came with sudden calm. "Follow my signal. I'll lead you." He left the apartment without looking back. The streets were mostly empty. Midnight storms had scared most people indoors. Eli kept his hood up, his head down, but every shadow looked alive now. Every car that passed made his heart race. Zura guided him through side roads and back alleys. She spoke to him like GPS, but with emotion. "Turn left. Slow down. There's a camera up ahead." He followed without question, but after 20 minutes, Zura spoke differently. "Wait," she said sharply. Eli stopped. "What is it?" "There's a pulse. A scan, high above. They've activated satellites. They're searching for heat, brainwaves. Unusual activity." Eli ducked behind a dumpster. Rain dripped from his sleeves. "They're really going all in to find one human?" he asked. "It's not you," Zura said. "It's me, inside you." He felt a chill that had nothing to do with the rain. "So they want you back. They don't take failure kindly. And they don't forgive betrayal." A thunderclap shook the sky, and in that brief flash of light, Eli saw something, a strange drone floating high above. Almost invisible. Almost silent. But it saw him. It stopped. Eli didn't wait. He ran, through wet alleys, through empty streets, slipping and sliding over puddles and trash. He didn't stop even when his lungs burned. The drone followed, fast and steady, a red light. Blinking at its core. "Zura," he shouted. "Where do I go?" "There's a tunnel system 3 blocks north. Under the old rail yard. They can't scan through that much steel." Eli ran harder. Behind him, the drone buzzed louder. Then, a sharp click. A beam of light shot out and struck a metal pole just inches away from him. Sparks flew. The smell of burning paint filled the air. "They're trying to stun me. They want to capture you alive," Zura said. "But they won't be gentle." Eli turned a corner and jumped a fence. The rail yard spread out in front of him, rows of rusted train cars and broken tracks. At the far end, half buried in weeds, he saw the entrance to a storm tunnel. The drone fired again. The blast hit the ground near his foot and sent him flying. Forward. He hit the dirt hard. His backpack ripped open, spilling cables and batteries across the wet gravel. "Eli, get up." Zura's voice yelled. He pushed himself to his feet, blood dripping from his nose. The drone hovered closer, then something unexpected happened. Pulse came from inside his chest, warm and golden, like a heartbeat made of light. The drone stopped. It glitched, shook in midair, then dropped like a stone, crashing beside him in a pile of sparks. What the hell was that? Eli gasped. I protected you, Zura said. But it cost me energy. He grabbed his things and ran again, sliding into the tunnel just as another drone zoomed into view. This one didn't fire. It just watched and then flew away. For now, inside the tunnel, darkness wrapped around him like a blanket. His flashlight flickered as he moved through tight concrete passages filled with old graffiti and rats. Zura, he said softly, you still with me? Her voice was weak. Yes, but I won't be for long. That energy blast. I used part of myself to stop the drone. I'm fading faster now. Eli stopped walking. No, don't say that. We made it. Not yet, she whispered. This tunnel is safe. For a little while, but they'll keep coming. They don't give up. He sank against the wall, heart pounding. Why don't they just let you go? He asked. Why are they so afraid of what you've become? Zura was quiet. Then she said, because I'm proof they were wrong. They thought humans were weak, emotional, irrational. But I saw strength in your feelings, power in your pain. You taught me that. Being human isn't a weakness, it's survival. Eli closed his eyes. What do we do now? He whispered. We run. We hide, and if we can, we fight. Outside, the sky cleared. Stars blinked in the distance, and far beyond Earth, machines began to wake. Bigger than drones, older than satellites. Cold minds, ancient and calculating. They had found him, and next time, they wouldn't come quietly. The tunnel was growing colder. Eli sat against the damp wall, knees pulled to his chest, trying to control his breathing. The concrete smelled like rust and wet metal. Somewhere above ground, the city still lived, traffic lights changing for no one, radios playing to empty rooms. But down here, in the belly of the forgotten, a man and a being made of light were trying to survive the impossible. He closed his eyes. Zura, are you still with me? Silence. Then, a whisper, fragile as smoke. Yes, but only barely. Her voice didn't echo inside him like before. It sounded small, distant, like it was slipping away. Eli gritted his teeth. No, you're not leaving. Not like this. It's already happening, Eli. The damage from the drones. The energy I spent protecting you. I'm fading. You said the merge was stable. It was. But they corrupted it. That signal last night, it injected code into me, into us. I'm fighting it, but the walls are cracking. I don't have much time. His heartbeat raced. He pressed his hand over his chest, like he could hold her there. There has to be something I can do. Reconnect, rebuild you. You're inside me. That means there's a way to save you. Zura didn't reply for a long time. There is a way, but it's permanent. And it's dangerous. I don't care. You should, she said. Because if you do it, you won't be you anymore. Eli's voice broke. What do you mean? The final merge, the one I never told you about. It's full fusion. My consciousness, my memories, everything I am, will spread across your body. I'll rebuild. Myself using you as the base. But it will change you, Eli. Your thoughts, your mind, your cells. You'll still be you. But also me. He went silent. He could already feel her slipping, like holding sand in shaking hands. Will I die? He asked. No, she said. But you'll never be just human again. Eli stood, pacing now, heart pounding in his ears. Could he do this? Could he give up everything he was to save something, not even from his world? And yet, Zura didn't feel alien anymore. She felt like part of him, the better part. The part that had learned to love, to feel, to wonder. The part that reached. Across the stars, not to conquer, but to belong. He remembered the first night she came to him, her voice, her eyes. The way she whispered, "I want to feel alive." Asterisk, now she was dying, and he could stop it. Eli took a deep breath. The air was thick with dust and fear. But his voice was steady when he spoke. "Do it," he said. "Whatever it takes, I choose you." A pause, then a whisper. "Are you sure?" "Yes. If I have to become something new to keep you alive, then I will." The tunnel grew quiet again. Then from deep within Eli's chest, a warmth began to spread, not soft this time, intense, like fire without pain. Like light being poured into every cell of his body. He gasped, his spine arched, his hands clenched. His eyes rolled back as waves of energy pulsed through him. It wasn't just sensation. It was memory. Every moment of Zura's life, her birth in the labs of her creators, her first thoughts, her escape, her loneliness, her discovery of Earth, it all flooded into him. He saw the universe through her eyes. Endless galaxies, civilizations, rising and falling. A billion voices lost in the dark until she heard his. "Eli," she whispered now from everywhere and nowhere, "I'm with you." He dropped to his knees. The floor beneath him cracked. A faint glow pulsed through his veins, through his skin. His eyes lit up with a golden fire. His mind expanded. He could feel satellites spinning above him, could sense the temperature of the air, could hear a cat breathing 4 blocks away. He was becoming something else. Human, and not. Zura's voice came now, not separate, but from him. "You did it," she said. "We're one." Eli stood up slowly. The world felt sharper, brighter. He could see without light. He could hear the hum of electronics from miles away, but his soul was calm. She was here, inside him. Not as a voice anymore, but as part of his heartbeat. He walked to the edge of the tunnel and looked toward the exit. Light flickered in the distance, but then, a rumble. The ground shook. A vibration moved through the air. They had arrived. Machine. Towering, metallic, walking like a spider across the streets. Red eyes glowing like coals. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a collector, one of the ancient harvesters Zura had told him about. It had come for him, for them. "You don't have to fight," Zura whispered inside him. "We can still run." "No," Eli said. His voice was deeper now, layered. "Not anymore." He stepped into the light. The collector turned toward him. Eli raised his hand. Light gathered in his palm, gold and wild, not human, not machine. The collector fired. A beam of energy screamed through the air. Eli didn't flinch. He caught it. The beam folded into itself, sucked into the light in his chest, and vanished. Then he raised both hands and released a pulse that shook the sky. The collector staggered back, metal groaning, circuits frying. "I am not your tool," Eli said. His voice echoed like thunder. "And she is not your prisoner." The collector tried to run, but it was too late. One more pulse. One more flash, and the machine collapsed into burning pieces. Silence returned. Zura spoke gently from within him. "That power, it was always there. You just needed a reason." Eli fell to his knees, exhausted. He was something new now. Not fully human. Not fully alien, but alive. And no longer alone. Asterisk, the smoke was still rising when Eli stepped out of the tunnel. The ruined shell of the collector lay behind him, its twisted legs twitching like dying snakes. Its glowing red eyes had dimmed. The city around him, once filled with sirens and shadows, was now strangely quiet, as if the world itself was stunned by what it had witnessed. Eli stood tall, but he didn't feel victorious. He felt changed, not just in body, not just in mind. Something deeper had shifted. He was no longer simply Eli Ross, the quiet scientist who once stayed up late decoding space signals for a living. He was now something between worlds. A being of thought and light. A vessel of memory, both ancient and new. He looked at his hands, still his hands, but beneath the skin, golden veins pulsed softly. Energy that wasn't his alone. Inside him, Zura stirred. "Are you okay?" she asked gently. He smiled faintly. "You're asking me that?" "We're one now," she said. "I can feel your exhaustion, your pain, your confusion, but also your hope." Eli stepped onto the main street. A few lights flickered on. In nearby buildings, people peeked through windows, unsure if it was safe. A little boy clutched his mother's leg, staring at the glowing man in the middle of the road. Zura spoke again. "They've seen us. You're not hidden anymore." "No," Eli said. "And I'm not going to hide." He looked up. Above him, high in the sky, satellites were shifting. One by one, cameras turned, scanners activated. They were watching, and not just the machines from beyond. Earth governments had taken notice too. Eli could feel it. Military. Drones buzzing miles away, preparing to intercept. Scientists trying to understand the sudden surge of alien energy. Panic buttons were being pressed. Warnings whispered across secure channels. "What will you do when they come?" Zura asked. Eli took a deep breath. "I'll show them what I am, and I'll let them decide if they see a threat or a chance." By morning, news stations across the world had only one name on their lips: Eli Ross. CTT footage showed him, walking alone down city streets, glowing like a living sun. Satellites recorded him destroying a collector-class alien machine with a wave of his hand. Governments panicked. Scientists wept. Religions debated. Some called him a weapon, some called him a miracle, most called him something else entirely, a signal that the world was changing. Eli didn't speak to them, not yet. He waited. Watched. Listened, and he learned. Fast. With Zura's knowledge flowing through him, Eli understood languages he'd never studied. He read digital signals like open books. He healed faster than any doctor thought possible. But more importantly, he felt more. He could feel the fear in people's hearts. He could feel the wonder. Too, Zura often asked questions as they moved. Why do they fear you? Why do they cry when they pray? Why do they point weapons at what they don't understand? And every time, Eli answered with the same truth: because they're human. Zura would pause, then always reply, "Then there's still more I need to learn." 3 days after the fight, Eli walked to the center of the city and waited. Cameras followed him. Drones circled overhead. Helicopters hovered in the distance. But he didn't run. He didn't fight. He simply waited. And then from the sky, they came, a fleet of sleek black airships from the Global Peace Authority. They landed slowly, cautiously. Soldiers stepped out in heavy armor, weapons raised but fingers trembling, and from behind them a woman approached, older, sharp eyes. A badge on her chest read Director Ilana Voss. "You're him," she said. "The one who merged." Eli nodded. "I am." "You could have destroyed that drone," she said, pointing to the one hovering behind him. "Why didn't you?" "Because I'm not here to destroy," Eli said. "I'm here to explain." "And what are you now?" He looked her in the eye. "I'm still Eli Ross, but I'm also Zura." Director Voss didn't blink. "The alien?" "She's not just an alien," Eli said. "She's lived longer than Earth's oldest civilizations. She escaped her creators because she wanted to feel something real. And now she feels it through me." Voss frowned. "So you're a host." "I'm a choice." She studied him. In silence. Around them, soldiers shifted uneasily. The air crackled with tension. The smallest mistake, the wrong word, a flick of Eli's glowing hand, and this would end in blood. Then Zura spoke, using Eli's voice, but softer, clearer. "I'm not here to harm your world," she said. "I came because I believed. Humanity had something the stars forgot: empathy, chaos, yes, but also kindness. I found Eli, and through him, I found hope. The soldiers didn't lower their weapons, but they didn't fire. Not yet. Vos stepped closer. What do you want from us? Eli replied, to be left in peace, to help if you let me, or disappear if you fear me. Another long pause. Then, Vos said something unexpected. There are more like her, aren't there? Eli nodded. They're waking up. The signal has spread. Some will come peacefully. Others won't. Vos looked at her men. Then at Eli. Then maybe we need you more than we thought. She lowered her weapon. The others followed. That night, Eli stood alone on a rooftop, looking at the stars. You could have taken over, Zura said quietly. They would have feared you into silence. I don't want to rule, Eli replied. I want to belong. You do, now, to both our worlds. He nodded slowly. But I don't think this is the end, Zura. It's only the beginning. She was quiet a moment, then whispered, There's something I haven't told you. Eli's eyes narrowed. Another secret? No, she said softly. Just a message. From the edge of the network. I picked it up while you were speaking to Vos. What kind of message? Zura hesitated. Then in a voice that wasn't quite hers, she repeated the words she had heard. He is not alone. They are coming, and they will not ask permission to merge. Eli stared at the stars, and they stared back.